Today, we are kicking off our Moms Who Inspire series, a celebration of working mothers in fitness with someone who wears more hats than most of us can even count.
Right.
Angela Davies, from co-owning fitness partners and producing national events like the Fit Expo to bringing mindfulness to schools with Yoga Ed, Angela is a powerhouse in the industry.
She is a leader. She is a mom of 4, which means she has a cape that she shoves down her shirt. She is a true community builder. We are honored to have her here to share her story of balance, purpose, and passion in both business and motherhood. So stay tuned to be inspired by today's supermom. Hey there, welcome to Group X Appeal. I'm Kimberly Spring-Glick.
And I'm Terry Shorter. We're excited to bring you this hot and sweaty podcast.
With over 25 years of experience each in the health and fitness industry, we're here to share hilarious, heartwarming stories from our lives and careers.
And offer practical nutrition tips, expert exercise advice, and strategies for holistic well-being and a positive mindset.
Group X Appeal is your go-to source for inspiration, motivation, and a few laughs along the way.
So tune in and let us help you be the healthiest, happiest version of you. Hey there, welcome to Group X Appeal. Terry Shorter here with
Kimberly Spring-Glick.
my co-host,
What's
my
up?
sister in crime.
Sister in crime? What crimes have we committed?
So many that we
Oh
can't
my
talk
goodness.
about on air.
Well, maybe one day.
One day we'll uncover all the good stuff, the juicy stuff. But we got juicy stuff for you today, you guys.
Yeah.
This is episode number 35. And as you heard in the introduction, we have a powerhouse mom here who's in studio with us. Actually, she's in San Diego. She'll tell you all about that in just a minute. Miss Angela Davies coming in live. How are you, Angela?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for inviting me to talk about my favorite topic, which is being a mom. Yeah, if I inspire too, I love it.
Yeah.
But being a mom has just been the most amazing, important thing I've done in my entire life.
Well, Angela, you're a mom of 4. You have already inspired me. So I bow down.
Yeah.
People
and
say
not-
that.
Yeah, and they're all boys too, right?
That's what I wanted to mention. Yes.
I was
They're
raised
all
with 4
men.
brothers. I'm not kidding that you have a cape.
Yeah, so
That's funny.
Kimberly speaks from experience.
Yes.
So we are honored to have you today. You know, we only gave the listener a brief, kind of background about you, but we're really going to dig in deep today, which we're so excited to share with our listeners today. And again, hopefully, like Kimberly said, inspire those who are out there. As we've mentioned, you've already inspired us, and we haven't even gotten.
I know we haven't asked a question
We haven't
yet.
asked a single question.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and dig right now deep into just a few questions so listeners can get to know you. I've had the privilege of knowing you now for 12 years in this industry through this amazing thing called group exercise. And so, the first question, Angela, we live today in a world where it's, of course, not uncommon for women to become moms and work outside the family, right? And others like yourself even chose to take a more entrepreneurial route. So what inspired you to start your own business while raising a family?
Yeah, I think the phrase is necessity is the motherhood of all invention. Is that the phrase? So it was just necessary, right? So flexibility in the workday was very important. I was already a group fitness teacher when I gave birth to my first son, and at that point I was the vice president of a health club organization, and I feel like I was able to, I guess you could say, hold it all together with one child, and even then I probably wasn't. But let's just go with it. I was doing it. And then when baby number 2 came along, I really was having a hard time really serving everyone around me and then finding time for myself. And so the opportunity presented itself for that flexibility in the workday, and I found it by jumping out on my own and taking my interest and passion in group fitness and my management, project management, communication skills, and my passion for programming and live events, because I had been a live event manager, and I put them all together in this big bundle, and I decided that I would be able to forecast a little bit and be able to be the powerhouse business person that I love to be, teach the group fitness classes, and with the flexibility and the forecasting, be able to serve my family and still get some time for myself. So it was really the ability to earn more income as I needed it too, because the way it goes with raising a family, you know, you've got your budget set just right, and then the kids are in 3 sports each, and that's
Right.
you know, the costs go up exponentially. And even just in terms of building your family, the first house that we lived in was big by any standards, but once you start, you know, putting 2 and 3 to a bedroom, at one time I had 3 in one bedroom, you got to get a little bit of elbow room, so then that's where the income is needed. And so, you know, that entrepreneurial spirit tells you, hey, I'm going to capitalize on my abilities, but maintain a little bit of margin for error so I can do this with my family. And then the other piece about being an entrepreneur that was important, and what led me to start the fitness projects, which my mantra was any project in fitness or projects that fit. And that mantra has served me well, because sometimes I had to sort of step out of the group fitness or live event or programming space. But I was able to push the press the pause button sometimes too. You know, like 3rd pregnancy, 4th pregnancy.
Right.
You know, oops. Let me see how this is going to work. And I think also being an entrepreneur, if you are the president of your own company and you know that you're a mom and you're happy to say to everyone, "Hey, I'm a mom." That sound in the back seat that sounds like a bunch of kids on this conference call, that's a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
I'm on my way to soccer practice. And I think it also, you know, would bring a little bit of humility to any business call, you know, just the understanding, like, I'm a mom. This is what I do, but I got you in my earbuds, and, you know, I'll throw a juice box to the 3rd row, and we can keep talking about how we're going to fill this Monday morning 9 a.m. class, or whatever the task at hand may be.
I love it because it's not only, I'm a mom, but it's like, I'm a mom and I'm a strong businesswoman. It's being able to own both of those with such confidence
And balance.
and put it out there. Yeah, I love that. It's cool. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
What would you say would be one of your biggest challenges, one of the biggest challenges that you've faced as a working mom in the fitness industry? And then, of course, how did you overcome that challenge?
You know, I think this is going to be a universal challenge in the group fitness space, and I think you know that I'm about to say last-minute substitutes. Really is a challenge. I mean, it absolutely is, and it almost is. You know how sometimes you reap what you sow, like things that you did in your early business life came back to haunt you. So, funny story. Glenda was a step teacher that worked for me when I was a program director, and she was an amazing step teacher, but she had 2 little kids before I ever had my first child. And she was awesome. But the problem was, when you have little kids, they get sick a lot. And I believe my pediatrician told me they have to have 1,000 viruses before they go to elementary school. So every time they have a cold or some kind of sickness, you go 999, 998.
Right, do the countdown.
The countdown, like they're going to get sick. And I remember telling her, Glenda, you're amazing, but you can't have Monday 9 a.m. step. It's too close for comfort. You know what? Let's find another time slot for you, because kids are going to get sick and we can't find out at 8:30, right? So fast forward a few years, and you asked me about my challenges. I mean, honestly, especially with 4, my husband used to say, we have a lot of moving parts.
Yes.
Hedge your bets. You know, make plans for everything that can go wrong.
Contingency
wrong.
plans.
Contingency plans. Plan
Contingency,
B, C,
and you know,
D, E to Z.
To Z. And so what I would do, I do a couple proactive things to take care of that challenge. The first thing was, I would always find a counterpart that was, if I was teaching Monday, they were teaching Friday, and I would literally stalk them. Like, hey, Terry, you teach Friday, I teach Monday. Can you ever teach Monday? And then they'd say, oh, I'm not free on Mondays. Okay, move along. Hey, you teach Wednesdays. Can you ever teach them? Because I'm going to keep myself free on Wednesdays to help you. Can you help me And that worked well. That served me well. The other thing is, whenever I would ask for a sub, I would always say, hey, I'm about to ask for a favor, but first, how can I help you? What do you need help with?
Right.
And then finally, I was never afraid to pay people.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I would say I got a $20 bill in my pocket. I don't think anyone has that anymore, right? I still teach, but I don't need to whip out the $20 bills anymore. But yeah, no, it was a definite challenge, and because I'm a program director too, it's particularly important that I make sure. And over time, even when my kids weren't babies, you know, there's last minute things. 7-year-olds can't be left unsupervised when they have a fever at your house.
Right.
They can't be taken to the gym. And even in today's world with online classes that we're teaching, you know, you're doing an online class, you've got a captive audience, and even the 10-year-old is going to beat down the door and let you know he's hungry or he's thirsty, right?
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
you know, I think in all aspects of what we do in today's lens of how we teach live or virtual or whatever we do, the whole you can't be two places at once is a big challenge.
Yeah, I think, and that's great that you had that support system, you know, on that professional side, and you were very proactive. You were very, just very mindful and just really thinking ahead, which is awesome, by approaching the people and finding out, you know, what their availability is like. And so that support system sounds really strong, and that method sounds strong. How important would you say community is on the motherhood side? Where would you get the support from the family side, especially with four boys? And I'm sure they were quite busy. You mentioned several sports.
Oh yeah, sports and
That's an
after-school
understatement.
activities and play dates. And you know, I was so fortunate to have a mother-in-law that just wanted to be with my kids so much. But when it comes to community, again, I think that partnership is a part of my DNA, whether it's in business deals or whether it is in community. And always, I would be the first person to offer to help. I would give help before people would even ask in order to get the help later, because I just knew things would go sideways. And so many times in the community, whether it was carpools, or school activities as I raised my family, people would say, "You're so nice." I would say, "Am I nice? Because actually, the drop's coming. I'll let you know when I need some help." And they'll be like,
you feel
"Okay,
that way.
I'll help." And I was like, "Yeah, you will help. You just don't know it.
You don't know yet.
You don't know yet. I'm gonna need help." So I would just pay it forward. And I think
There
that's
you go.
important in any community. You know,
For sure.
you can't go asking for stuff if you haven't given of yourself first.
Reciprocity.
Yeah.
Building that community. But, you know, one thing I will say that is interesting in the group fitness space, but also in business, is that in crisis, the community that you've built around you by being accessible, by being willing to help, by putting yourself in other people's shoes, when you have a crisis, people come forward, and it's humbling. It's
true.
really humbling how people will want to help you, and you feel so thankful that you made your community a priority by helping at times when it wasn't helpful to you, you know? And so I had a personal crisis, you know, a few years ago. And I remember people dropping off meals. I remember people coming by, and I had this one lady who came to my door, and she was, I had been the room mom in her son's class. So that's a community outside of group fitness, but, you know,
Sure.
community nonetheless. And she said, "I don't know what's going on with you, but I'm picking up on there maybe some health concern or what have you. And I just wanted you to know people will help. All you have to do is just let them know what you need." And that just really made me see you pay it forward, you're always present, and then you allow people to throw their love and grace and blessings on you when you need the help. Don't be too strong and try to suffer quietly when you have a crisis, because people are happy to help.
I think you should say that a little louder for this one to hear you a little bit more clearly,
Seems
Angela.
to be one of our themes
It
the
seems
last
to
few
be.
episodes is community.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's
You've
awesome.
paid it forward, Terry. You've totally paid it forward. You've built an amazing community. But yeah,
Well,
I mean,
thank
just
you.
being there to help, right? Being there to help, being willing to help is puts that community around you. But you can't do anything without community, and so I've always made that a priority.
Love it.
But I love what you said about not only being willing to help, but being willing to receive. Because it's a win-win. You know, it goes in both directions either way. If you're the one helping or you're the one receiving and allowing someone else to step in and support you. So we're all in this together. So I really appreciate you sharing that. So a lot of our
Especially
listeners...
as a mom, I wanted to say too, because the mom piece in the community is the kids too. Because
Sure.
sometimes your kids need help. And when you've built that community around you, people have other information that can serve you to be a better mom. So I wanted to point that out as well.
And dads, by the way, too, can help
Right.
be better fathers, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So, Angela, many of our listeners, I would say, definitely struggle with mom guilt or perhaps burnout. What advice would you give to women who are trying to prioritize their health, their wellness, their dreams, but also care for their families?
I think the biggest piece of advice that I would give is to understand that your children are a gift. And you know that because they're a gift to you, but they're also a gift to other people. And so the mom guilt is that if you aren't with your kids, they're suffering. And that's not even true. As you say that out loud, you realize that's not true.
That just sounds
Like,
ridiculous.
This sounds ridiculous. They can not only can they thrive without you, they do thrive, but you have this idea that you're making your kids suffer if you're not there, whether it's for a night or a weekend or a week. I mean, all these things sound like such a long time, and it comes from a place of intuition. And to your point, Terry, it's not just moms. It's family network, and it can be moms and dads, it can be extended clan, but once you get a child into your ecosystem, you have these instincts that you're there to nurture and protect, and those take over. So by virtue of those nurturing instincts, if you're not there, they must be suffering. But if you flip the script and if you get rid of that mom guilt by understanding that every time you share your child with another group or another person, not only is the community going to enjoy the time with them, but your kids are going to benefit too. And so what I love to say to new moms is that as I look back, having raised my family, I see a little bit of Priscilla in my second child. I see a little bit of Dorothy in my first child. Even the people that my kids met at the childcare at the gyms where I've taught over the years have made an impression on my kids in little ways. Like, I remember leaving a 24-hour fitness, and one of my sons said, do you know they've got handheld devices we can use to play our games? And I was like, do they? I'm pretty sure they don't. It only happens on a TV when I say. He's like, no, they got these little devices. So I shared them with the childcare at a 24-hour fitness, and I ended up with a $199 device that was purchased at Christmas or something like that. But yeah, it's a gift that you're giving, and they're learning something. And each child if you have one child, or you have 4, or you have 10, they're all getting something different. And in some ways, it's like their cup is getting filled up with external voices, and I think it adds to diversity too. And to that point, my oldest son, who was with me in so many places, he knows 4 languages.
Wow.
And that's because his first caregiver, who was a part of making me be a mompreneur, allowing me to start my business, allowing me to show up for business meetings and show up for classes when he wasn't feeling well, English was her second language. So she would sing to him in Spanish. And then our next door neighbors who jumped in whenever Grandma wasn't available or Grace wasn't available were Turkish. And so I loved seeing that dimension. And, over time, he's my world traveler. And I have to think it's because his early experiences were seeing different cultures. I mean, I live in California, so you're going to see that anyways. But they were upfront and close and personal. Hearing the next door neighbor speak Turkish to his daughter, and then getting to spend time with her, whether it was for the afternoon, the evening, or there was one overnight because my husband was out of town and I was managing a live event and I literally could not miss my flight. So my older son had to spend the night at the next door neighbors. And again, there's that mom guilt that you open the discussion with. But it ends up that it's a gift because you're sharing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that perspective. It's great.
And let me ask you, Angela, you've got 4 boys. What are their ages right now?
Okay, so now they're all grown up. And Terry, thank you
Good
so
job,
much for not mentioning the G word, but I'm going to go ahead and do it.
All right.
I'm about to be a grandma. I don't like to. It doesn't fit with the narrative. I don't like to admit my age, but
no, it fits just great with the narrative.
I love it.
I'm telling you. So this conversation is so relevant because I have a daughter-in-law, and I'm getting ready to be grandma and see everything that she is gonna go through. And she's a very business-minded person. I'm excited to see how she rolls out her life as a mom. As a business person, she's a successful executive, and how much time she's going to need to share, and how it's gonna work for her. But so I've got 22, 24 now, 28, and my older son just turned 30.
Wow.
Awesome.
They're up
the staircase,
there. But,
the step case.
Yeah.
yeah, at one point I had 4 kids under 8.
It just
two
feels
dogs.
ill-advised.
So you got a lot of steps in before Fitbit even came out.
Right?
I did.
You were
And some
doing
days
like
I got no
20,000.
steps. Some days I got
wow.
no steps because these kids were jacking my swag. So I remember one day famously I was determined to get another workout in, and we had bikes. So I thought, we're just gonna all jump on a bike. I'm a spinning instructor. We're going, right? 4 kids on a bike, and I did not realize
It's like herding cats.
how. I didn't realize how many hills there were in my neighborhood.
Okay, until you're on the bike.
I don't
Too
know
late.
why I didn't notice, but there was a
Because
lot
you were
of
never
hills.
on a bike?
Yeah, because you're in the car, the minivan.
Wow, that was a bad idea. But yes.
I love it. Well, congratulations on
Thank you.
your grandchild on the way. When's the due date?
Oh, she's a girl, and it's going to be, so this is going to be new. And I always said I was glad I had boys because I have so many fabulous women in my life. From my community I've built, I'm on fabulous woman overload. All the time. Like there's another fabulous woman in front of me now, Kimberly. So we're bringing a girl into our future, and she's due June 5th. So
Ooh,
fingers
right around the corner.
crossed.
Coming up.
She
6
will be
weeks.
a Gemini, like me.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Love it. Well, congratulations. And I guess that's a good segue into the next question. If you could go back now to your younger self, just kind of starting out as a working mom, and this would probably help your daughter-in-law, for her to hear this as well, or any other soon-to-be brand new moms, what direction would you give to help you on your journey if you can go back to see your younger self?
I think anything worth having is worth working for. So I think I say that a lot. It's just going to take work. I think every stage in my life as a business person and as a mom, there's been unique challenges, and this too shall pass. Every single time I would find a new solution, and then there'd be a new problem. It's like I'm a problem solver. There's never ever a panacea. But the one thing in terms of group fitness also translates to business, and that's the imposter syndrome. You know, you learn a new skill set for group fitness. Like when I first learned to teach yoga, it took me 7 years before I would ever teach yoga. And then fast forward, I end up getting to be the interim COO of Yoga Fit, the largest certification organization in the world. Like, but at first I felt like an imposter. How could I ever teach yoga, right? But I think that what I learned and what I would advise my younger self is that you're not an imposter, you're yourself. And you're a magnet to other people that are like you and that are interested in the things that give you joy in how you construct your class. So I would remind myself that I can teach any class from the Angela Davies perspective with the right training and respect for science and safety. I'm not an imposter. I always have to just put my authentic self into it and not be afraid that everyone's going to like what I do. Just hope that most people like what I do, and that there will be that one person who complains that I talk too much during class. It's going to happen, right? But that's who I am, and they have other options on the schedule. And as a program manager, I've always really respected that as well. It's that when complaints come at you, or if people always prefer and love XYZ person, that I would always feel like this person has their group. You just have to find your group. And sometimes a good thing that I've done can help other group fitness teachers, but also can help business people, is I teach one class at every facility. I don't teach 5. I move myself around. That's a little more work being a part of other communities, but you get a little bit of Angela, that's all you get. Yeah, there's no overload.
Keep you in demand.
Yeah.
Keep me in demand. Yeah, you don't like my Wednesday morning class? I only teach Wednesday. That's it. Like,
show up there.
There's other time slots, but more often than not, it works like that in business too. I've always felt my sweet spot as an entrepreneur managing my own business is 3 projects, and that's kind of a fun number too. Maybe one project like the Fit Expo was always like my 40% project, and then being a program manager was another 30%, and then I had another 30% where I could consult on other projects. So and then sometimes I could only do 50% of the work that I used to do because of things that were trending in my family. But the advice to myself, if I could go back, would be that I'm not an imposter, and I can do anything, but I'll do it my way. And I'll be proud of the unique spin that I bring to the projects I work on or the classes that I teach.
Love it, and your people love you for that.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, one of the things that comes up for me whenever I think of imposter syndrome, we talk about that feeling like a fraud. That feeling cannot surface unless we're in a circumstance where we've left our comfort zone. And what do we want to do as entrepreneurs, as business people, as human beings? We want to grow, we want to evolve, which requires moving beyond our comfort zone. But when you move beyond your comfort zone, that's when the feeling of fraud and the imposter syndrome can surface. So I love how you just position that, Angela, where it's like, just take you with you. Like just bring the authenticity with you into this new expanded place and just keep showing up and make it your own. I really, really like that.
Yep. And not everybody's going to love you, and that's okay.
Ooh, I learned that early on.
People will find you. Absolutely. People will find you. People will love you. And come to your Wednesday classes, your only Wednesday class at that facility.
That's right.
That's
Get their
it.
Angela fix.
A limited time engagement.
Exactly.
Love it.
So, is there any other advice that you could share that you wanted to impart upon us, or knowledge?
You know, because I'm at the end of the road, right? I'm getting ready to be a grandma. I've raised my family.
Wait, no, you're not at the end. What kind of end of the
what
road
was
are you
that?
talking
In terms
about?
of motherhood,
Whoa.
I
was like,
I'm
what?
on the continuum, I'm now to this next thing, this
Next season, this
phase,
new season.
Next new season, yeah.
Yeah, not end of the road. That sounded very final.
Yeah, um, I think that just the other thing, and this goes for being a mother or a father or the aunt that raises the tribe. It doesn't matter. The caregiver, the parental figure, it's all the same. But what's so fascinating is looking to see who the babies that I raised are choosing. And they all four have so different personalities. There's nothing similar about each of them. They're all great friends, but they're picking strong women. Very strong women.
Like their mama, just like their mama.
Yeah.
So strong that be careful what you wish for. I'm the mother-in-law, and that's going to be 4 times over. So I just have to be thankful that I raised these lads to appreciate strength and know my role in this next gen, this next season. But no, I'm thankful because, as my kids have made their way through life, I learned very young that people are meant to be in pairs. And when you're in a pair, when you're first born, it's going to be mom, and then it switches where your dad's best friend or your grandma's favorite or whatever it is, and then you come school age and you find that best friend. And as we go through life, in everything we do, partners are amazing because they are better. You're better together. The yin and the yang. And so what you want in business is a community that surrounds you. And if you choose to partner, you want a partner that is going to balance you. And so that's what, as a mom, as you raise them with good modeling for them to see that I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I break down. I need to hit the pause button. Things, there's no perfection in the person that I am, but I try really hard and I learn as I go. And then when they attract in their personal lives to other partners that have that similar mindset, that they can make their way in the world and find joy. And then also beyond finding joy, they can bring goodness to others, because they will find their center by knowing that as an individual you can do X, but when you partner or you bring a community around you, you can do so much more.
Definitely.
Amen.
Well said. Wow.
Fantastic. And so, Angela, so the listeners know, what projects are you working on? I know what they are, but just so, and I'm excited about them, but share with the listeners out there where they can find you, what projects you're most excited about working on right now, any upcoming events that you're putting on as well that they can attend and perhaps meet you at as well.
Well, thank you for that opportunity to share that, because actually, part of being a mom and a busy executive on the go, class preparation has always been something that's been important to me. I take a lot of joy in it, in terms of choosing music and class design and feeling like I'm putting together an inspirational workout. And Terry and I, we've teamed up and we started a brand that's going to launch in the next week or two called Yoga Ed.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Awesome.
And this is your next class delivered. And as the creative director, I'm working with Terry on this project. He's the right person with all of his background in creating programs for Ripped and Rumble, and just such a beautiful maestro in terms of the flows that you create and that I've seen.
Thank you.
And then my part, the business side, in terms of partners that I draw to it. But I'm just super proud, Terry, of what we've created and we're getting ready to launch, because what we are going to be providing for our clientele, our subscribers, is all of these class flows delivered in one platform where Group X teachers, yogis can arrive, see a beautiful flow that was curated on a year-round track, and then curated to match up the mood, the sense connected to yoga themes, yogic words, meaning, the Sanskrit, and breaking it down, and then, but most importantly, being able to print it out, get music suggestions that make sense to really bring that inspiration and go. So whether you're substituting a class that you find in the yoga ed library, I'm super proud, Terry, of what you're creating, what we're doing together. That's getting ready to launch. It's going to solve a lot of problems for mompreneurs, that's for sure, because it's sitting there. The other thing is the upcoming Fit Expo events, which, you know, grounded through group fitness as I am, I've always been a part of the training and wellness zone. We build out beautiful stages. We have every event has a different personality. We're building towards our Anaheim event, where we'll debut the first ever AI wellness pavilion, which is that technology piece. And then the third thing that I'm working on is the program management for a residential fitness program. And that keeps me grounded because, you know, most of us that teach in a health club environment, when you're working with class participants that are at a health club, they're already 10 steps ahead of the average Joe, right? The average American. And when you arrive on site in corporate fitness or in residential fitness, you get the average person. And yeah, it's a very different style of teaching. You need to really back it up a few steps. It hones your programming and your teaching skills, and really just the modifications. So I'll continue working on that through August, when things will be heating up for the Los Angeles Fit Expo, and I'll really have to roll off that programming project. But those are some of the things that I'm working on right now, and I'm excited about all three of those projects.
Wow. So we have Yoga Ed in a week, and then the Anaheim Fit Expo, when is that coming around?
Yeah, that's August 2nd and 3rd. And if people have been sitting on the sidelines and saying, oh yeah, I'll go to yoga, I'll go to Fit Expo someday, this is the event to go to, because the AI Wellness Pavilion is even going to have robots spinning around. They've got these beautiful mirrors where these avatars pop up and you can ask them any questions.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
filming a movie. Like, this is going to be next level. So I'm excited for that.
Right in our
And Terry
backyard.
will be there doing his next flow, his August flow, probably a back to school flow for August 2nd and 3rd at the Training and Wellness Zone. But yeah, those are the events that are coming up, and we're super excited always to be bringing those opportunities. And one thing about the Fit Expo for group fitness and for mompreneurs is, at the event, there's a lot of business opportunities and networking too. So many times when new moms are thinking about their life now as it changes, there could be a whole new direction for them, something new and exciting that they can unlock by being open, as you mentioned before, to new opportunities and getting out of their comfort zone.
Love it.
So there's a lot on your plate. We can. Where do you keep your cape at?
Well, you know what? My cape got commandeered by my second son when he was a little kid, and he was for 2 weeks he was a different character, but it always involved a cape. And he would come down the stairs, and we would say, "Who are you today?" And he would say, "Blah blah blah, blah blah blah." And like on the 14th day, when we were ready to get a public health or professional involved, thinking that he was schizophrenic potentially, he came down and I said, "Who are you today?" And he's like, "Kyle. Who else would I be?"
What are you talking about, Mom?
So he has a cape hanging in his 28-year-old bedroom even today, and so he's got my cape. I gave it to him.
I love it. You can keep it.
I'll just make my way as ordinary Angela I'm happy to be ordinary.
Nothing ordinary about you. And we're so thankful that you joined us again today. Such an honor, such a privilege, you sharing your heart, your wisdom, your experience with us today, your inspiration. And you've really just shown that it's super possible to run multiple ventures, stay rooted in service, and still be present for your family. And that's everything. It's huge.
That's huge.
Yep. And so we know our listeners are walking away inspired to create deeper alignment in their own lives. And so we thank you for that so much, Angela.
Yeah, for everyone listening or watching on YouTube, feel free to share comments or questions. We'll be sure to pass them along to Angela, and check out the great project she's working on, and definitely share this episode with anyone that you feel could be positively impacted by it. I know a few people come to mind from myself already. So
For sure. So that is it for our episode number 35
Thank you,
featuring
guys.
Miss Angela.
Thank you, Angela.
Yes, we appreciate your time. We appreciate your treasure. We appreciate your talents. And again, make sure you follow Angela. And where can they find you on social media, by the way, before we wrap? Because we didn't mention that.
Yeah.
It is thefitexpo_partners
The
on
Fit
Instagram.
Expo Partners on Instagram.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, great. So thank you so much again. Thank you for sharing this with your friends out there, your family, for commenting, for liking, for subscribing, and all that good stuff.
All the things.
Yeah, of all the things. And again, I'm Terry Shorter,
I'm Kimberly Springglick,
and we encourage you to make it a great day, because why?
because it is a great day to have.
Yes, it is. Take care.
Mwah, much love.